BioWare veteran calls out the cruelty of fans celebrating layoffs. You are crossing a line and you're probably attacking the wrong person anyway. You don't know the circumstances that resulted in the thing you're mad at. No, let me just say this. Arch is 100% correct. Stick, nothing but the stick. Why am I so harsh? Well, for the past decade, we have tried to be nice. We've tried to understand. We tried to talk with you. We tried to compromise with you. We've been using the carrot for years, and all you do is keep slapping us in the face. And then eventually, I think these developers started assuming that that they can abuse us all they want, and we're just going to keep giving them carrots anyway. Because every time we present them with a carrot, they slap us in the face. So they're like, well, maybe these are just carrot piñatas. Maybe we just got to keep slapping them, and we keep getting carrots out of them. So point being, we tried the carrot for years, and it didn't work. Now that we're using the stick, we're finally getting results. It's become painfully obvious to us that trying to be nice doesn't work. We need to make these developers more scared of us than the woke. That's the only way we're going to get results out of them. And the best way we can scare them shitless legally is by withholding our money from them and then pointing and laughing as they go bankrupt. And this is the most important part, okay? We've done all of that well, but it's this last part where I think a lot of people think that when these corpos go bankrupt, that's the end of it. No, that's the beginning. Because now you take that scalp and you parade it in front of the other corpos. And then you show them, if you fuck around, you're going to find out. We need to use the failures of these developers as a lesson and a warning to the other developers. Hey, you don't want to end up like your buddy BioWare, do you? That's the part we can't slack off on. So like I just said, they need to be more scared of us than they are of the woke, because it's obvious they don't respond to us being nice. So you had a decade to do this the easy way. But if you want to do it the hard way, the choice is yours. You picked the hard way, so the hard way it is. And you guys got no one to blame but yourselves. Like, especially this guy. If he is so concerned about all of his friends and colleagues at the studio losing their job, why didn't he put a stop to any of these stupid decisions? Like, this guy worked on the original Dragon Age, did he not? He should understand how to make a good Dragon Age game. Why did he allow Drag Queen Age the Failhard to happen? If he cared so much about his friends at the studio, he would have put a stop to it. But he didn't. And now he wants to blame us. And Mark Dara is a true BioWare veteran, having worked at the studio for 24 years before returning in a consultancy role to shepherd Drag Queen Age the Failhard over the finish line. So yeah, shepherd it over the finish line. You mean drag the corpse over the finish line? Yeah, I mean, I guess he did that. Dara is now freelance once more and has been using some of his time to post YouTube videos about both the company's history and the future and what he calls an unprecedented time for BioWare. Oh, I could tell you what their future is. They don't have one. I'm not even sure EA is going to wait for them to finish Mass Effect. They may actually just shit-can the studio before that. Dara's latest video, however, has another subject. The more toxic elements of game developers. Yeah, I'm fixing that for you. Which are much more of an issue for developers than some players might think. In a current year minus 2 GDC survey of game developers, 91% of the respondents said abuse from players was a problem. And if they're being honest, we've all seen some people go way OTT at developers online. The problem feels even more pronounced with bigger budget end of the industry, where certain folks seem to feel that if they paid their money, that entitles them to open season on the people who made it. This is the main point of the video the guy was making, and I actually agree with him. But before you burn me at the stake, give me a chance to explain myself. But first, we got to read what he has to say. Now, the video is called "Your $70 Doesn't Buy You Cruelty." It sees Dara address the issues as diverse as players celebrating layoffs to the kind of persistent personal harassment and threats that result in the courts having to get involved. The former producer makes clear he's not talking about folk criticizing game they've paid money for, telling others that they don't like it, which he feels like it doesn't really need saying. But I guess you have to be explicit about this stuff on the internet. Dara's issue is fans feeling they have the right to target random developers who work at the studio behind a given title, even when we don't know the circumstances resulted in the thing you're mad at. No, this part, he's being stupid. Okay, he's being fucking stupid. I haven't seen anyone targeting random developers. The only developers I've seen get quote unquote targeted are the ones that took the first shot. They painted the target on their own backs. They took the first hit. Like they flung shit across the wall and then cried harassment when the shit was flung back. No, I'm not saying there aren't any instances of random developers being attacked, but if there are, I haven't seen them. It's usually retaliatory strikes. So if you're mad at Ubisoft game, says Dare, be mad at Ubisoft. Express your anger at the studio that made the game, but you cross the line and start being cruel about it. You don't need to go out of your way to cause harm to other people because of a video game. Now, that's far enough. Why did I say I actually kind of agree with him? Because of that old saying that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. When I have to deal with bad customer service at a in-person business, like I ranted about when I was talking about the Taco Bell segment, about my bad experiences getting Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and the employees there were too incompetent to even stir the drink. Now, it wasn't a big deal when I was paying attention. I obviously could do that myself. But if I just accept the drink, expecting it to be ready and take a sip, and all the flavor syrup is down my throat in one sip, after like the third time that happened, yeah, see, like Vanessa's got it in the chat. I don't complain. I just don't go back. That's exactly right. Most of the time when I decide to stop patronizing a business, I don't make a scene. I don't fill out a survey telling them why I left. I just leave and never come back. If I really, really liked the place and I really wanted to give them a chance, that's when I say something. That's when I give them a chance. I let them know, hey, I think you're making a mistake. Can you not do that? And if they respond like these game developers do, with by attacking me for daring to criticize them, they've lost me forever at that point. I'm done. I'm just walk away, never come back. How much more damage do you think we could do to these shitty studios if people just didn't even give them the attention? Like, imagine if Drag Queen Age the Fail Hard was coming out and it just had zero hype. Like, no one was talking about it. No one was watching the trailers. No big streamers or YouTubers were talking about it. Like, to the point where even hardcore Dragon Age fans forget the game was even coming out and forget to pre-order it. That would be the best way to drive the point home. Because I do agree, like, when some people take it too far and they actually harass the developers, these developers always use that as an excuse. Like, then they try to play the victim. Even though, like we've seen with Brianna Wu, if no one's actually harassing them, they'll harass themselves. Yeah, Unknown 9. Exactly. Look, I actually think Unknown 9 got more sales than it otherwise would have because people like me and much bigger YouTubers were talking about it. No one would have even known of the game if people like us didn't bring it to their attention. When the game launched and they had like 60 people playing it on Steam, those were all the people that were streaming the game because nobody ever cared. Nobody wanted to play it. So they would have gotten less sales if everyone just let the game fade away. So yes, I do kind of agree that we shouldn't respond to these horrible developers with hate. Just apathy. Just leave. Don't talk to them. Don't talk about them. Don't talk about their games anymore. Literally, just walk away. I can guarantee you, there's probably some Korean or Chinese studio that's making a game you'd actually like. Go play that instead. Go hype that up instead. Don't even give the time of day for dog shit. You only have a very limited amount of time in your life. Do you really want to waste it on things you hate? No, just walk away, man. Yeah, just play modded Skyrim. Dude, I would rather do a 15th run in Skyrim than play a downgrade like Avowed. The fact that that game can't beat Skyrim in any category and Skyrim is 14 years old, that just shows you how the game industry has completely degraded. And there's also the fact that whenever someone dislikes about a game, painting that one individual, even a group of devs, is just wild and betrays total ignorance of how the massive projects are brought together. All of that isn't to say you aren't allowed to have your own opinions, not like things. It specifically points out that you're being angry at a specific person. You attack a specific person is often misdirected. No, that's your fault. Again, there might be instances where random innocent developers were singled out, but all of the big quote unquote hate mobs that I've seen arose as a response to these developers taking the first shot. It was these developers coming out saying, haha, we owned you fucking chuds. Oh, you're never going to be able to get the games you like again. And then they play the victim when gamers are like, oh, that's definitely one of the people that's causing the problem. And these are going to be the same people that cry when they can't get another job once they get laid off, too. Because, man, I know a lot of gamers are so sick and tired of this shit that they're actively blacklisting any studio that hires these bad actors. So they're going to have to be kept off the fucking websites. Like, no one's going to have to know that they're actually working there. It's going to be pretty funny. Dara even accepts that as someone who's an executive producer role on the likes of Anthem. Dude, so this guy was in charge of Anthem and Drag Queen Age, the fail hard. Yeah, something tells me he actually wasn't responsible at all for their past successes. He was just there leeching off of the work of someone else, I bet. He's a fair target for some of this ire, better than those in leadership roles to get an unpleasant complaint or message that some junior designer probably had nothing to do with the decision making that led to the issue, which leads to a point that again seems obvious but doesn't seem to be understood by many. Be aware that this stuff is carefully scrutinized, says Dare, referring to complaints and feedback, even the screeching kind, not just by social media teams, but the teams themselves, arguably in a lot of cases to too great of a degree. The team is listening, I would say, often too much to what you're yelling about and complaining about. This actually just makes me hate these people more. This guy literally just admitted, we hear all of your complaints. We're listening. We're just choosing to ignore you. Yeah, we know what it is you want. We're just making the conscious decision to not give it to you. All right, well, wallet's closed. You don't give me what I want, I'm not going to give you money. It's that simple. There are countless competitors out there who are giving me what I want. They're the ones that are going to get my money. You're not. Dare has a particular and understandable bugbear about this kind of fans who grave dance when layoffs are announced. When you celebrate layoffs at a studio because a game that you don't like didn't do that well, says Dare, you're crossing a line to being cruel. Fundamentally, you should have more grace for other human beings. No. Fuck you. Fuck this gaslighting piece of shit. If a studio that we like, whose developers aren't antagonistic towards us, who we could tell was trying, if they release a flop, generally we will support their other games. We will find ways to support them to keep them afloat. If we got studios that are staffed with good people that just make a mistake and need some help, we will turn out and we will help them. The reason anyone is celebrating when you guys are leaving is because you've burned through all the goodwill you had with your fans. You literally just admitted you actively ignore their complaints. You purposely do things to antagonize them and piss them off. You pick fights with them on the internet and then play the victim when they fight back. You actively sabotage and destroy the franchises that they've loved since they were kids. Why wouldn't they celebrate you being laid off? We're not talking about a studio that's generally good, that made one mistake and is being crucified for it. No. We're talking about a studio that has a history, a pattern of being antagonistic with their own audience. That's why there's the celebration. The way we see it, you guys are damaging the stuff we love. So the stuff we love would be better off if you guys weren't in this industry. If you weren't there to fuck it up, it wouldn't get fucked up. So of course we're going to fucking celebrate when those that are fucking everything up are gone. And that's probably what prompted Terrace to make the video in the first place, following the lukewarm commercial reception of Drag Queen Age the Failhard. Publisher EA laid off a host of senior talent last month, including veterans of both Drag Queen Age and Mass Erect series. The reports suggest that over half the studios either let go or reassigned elsewhere in EA. At the layoffs of BioWare felt like EA was gutting the studio because they had no idea what to do with it. You know what they should have done? They should have just shut it down and got rid of everybody. Because, do you really want to risk that cancer spreading? At this point, I'm 100% sure that everyone with actual talent is long gone from these studios. The AAA industry drives actual talent away. So it's not like you'd be missing much. But then again, I'm sure all the rest of EA studios are kind of fucked anyway. So maybe it doesn't matter. That's right. Nothing's going to change because these people aren't capable of asking, could it be us? Yeah. No, obviously it's the kids who are the problem. Yeah. All right. So boots on the ground, paying the price for poor leadership, as is sadly the case of most industries. No, don't even try to play this. I literally just said the actual talented developers are long gone. Do you really think that good, talented boots on the ground stick around in these environments very long? Oh, of course not. If they're actually good, if they're actually talented, you know what they're going to do? They're going to find another job easily. If they're actually good, they'll have no problems getting hired by someone else. So good developers don't stick around in these bad environments. It's only the shit ones who have nowhere else to go because they're not good enough to leave. So nothing of value is lost if you just take down the whole studio. All right, this is a view shared by some in games, including Michael Dowse, publishing director of Baldur's Gate 3 developer Larian, who tore into EA for abandoning the institutional knowledge in favor of cost cutting in the more brutal sense. Dude, this guy should know better. The institutional knowledge left that studio years ago. There's nothing of value left. And it's always people lower down the food chain that suffer when it's clearly a strategy for higher up the food chain that's causing the problem, which is true. But again, the good devs are already gone. They don't stick around in these environments very long. So as Dawes says, on a pirate ship, they toss the captain overboard. Guess what, guys? You can do that. Just all quit en masse and start a new studio, provided you could do that in a way that won't that won't run afoul of any non-compete contracts you may have signed. But now all of a sudden you'll be bitching because now you all have to go try to get sales, try to get investors, try to get more money in instead of focusing on your craft. All the stuff the higher ups generally do for you. None of these guys are willing to do it themselves. Yeah, so on a pirate ship, if they throw the captain over, hopefully someone else on that ship knows how to be the captain. Now, you're entitled to your opinion, Insdara. Yeah, you are entitled to be angry about a game that you bought, that you paid good money for it. Hey, even better, what about those of us who didn't buy it? What about those of us who have functioning eyes and can tell it's shit? Yeah, the best way to deal with these guys is to just not buy their stuff. Just let them fade away into obscurity, man. Yeah, but try to remember, it's just a game. It's funny. Whenever they're on the losing side, it's just a game. When they're trying to force their ideology on us, it's a vessel into the culture. It's super important that we put our representation in everything. But I thought it was just a game. Why are you treating it like it's some social responsibility? It's just a game. And even more importantly, when you're expressing your complaints, stay away from cruelty, stay away from targeting individual people, unless those people took the first shot. Stay away from trying to cause harm. Stay away from celebrating harm done to actual human beings. NPCs aren't human beings. When you're personally attacking individual devs who attacked first, you're crossing the line. Yeah, you're supposed to just let them attack you and not fight back. You're probably attacking the wrong person anyway. Oh, so you mean all of these devs have interns running their social media accounts, so they're not really the ones attacking us? Is that going to be the next excuse? Oh yeah, I know what that this dev was picking a fight with you on social media, but it's not actually that dev. It was someone else using his account. Is that where we're going to go? Now, you know what? As they fall further into obscurity, and we stop buying their games, we stop talking about them, we stop giving them free word of mouth, free advertising, as all that happens. When they release, like when Mass Effect comes out, and it's a complete dud, even worse than Drag Queen Age, and they're crying about it, that's when we all turn around and say, why are you crying so much? It's just a game. So what if a game failed? It's just a game. But we're going to be out of work. Oh, shut up. It's just a game. Why are you taking it so seriously? It's just a game. That's what you keep telling us. It's just a game. Something tells me they're not really going to like being on the receiving end of their own bullshit. Even better, the game is still good. Oh yeah, none of your changes affected the gameplay any. Oh well, it's just a bunch of bigots didn't buy it. I mean, you don't want bigots as customers anyway, right?